Hi, we're going to start with AV testing, which is always the first thing we do at every conference, right? Can everyone hear me? Excellent. Thank you. All right, I'm super excited to be here at our first ever CSTA California Teacher Hackathon. Thank you so much for coming, for getting up early on a Saturday morning when you could have been taking the time off work. I really appreciate everyone who's here, and I appreciate your being patient and flexible and giving with us. This is my first time moderating a hop-in thing, and though like my PhD is in computer science, that does not necessarily mean that I'm great at managing interfaces under pressure. So thank you so much for being patient. Okay, I am going to show you my presentation. It's going to be great. Here we go. CSTA California. This is our official kickoff of our first ever teacher hackathon. I'm super excited about it. And we're going to start out. I want to ask you, where are you from? Because we have CSTA chapters across California. We have people here joining us from across the country, across the world. There should be a poll right now. It's either in the session or in the event. There's a little poll thing where you can tell us where you're coming from. So let us know that. And I'm super I got into this dual state. Okay. Thank you for sharing with that. I am so happy to be here, and as a representative of both the CSTA chapters and of the CS for CA Teaching and Learning Work Group, I want to just celebrate the fact that we got here. We are here because we really are invested in engaging and rejuvenating the current CSTA membership across California, and with this interactive day of professional learning. We also, our goal is to drive new membership and participation in CSTA chapters. So I know there's a lot of people here who just officially joined CSTA to register for this, and I thank you so much for that. I hope you will continue to participate in your local CSTA chapters and help people and get help. We also wanted to create a safe space for teachers to share knowledge. So hopefully everyone will feel entirely comfortable here with making mistakes and taking risks and asking for help. And we can build community that way and make some really cool stuff. And making the really cool stuff is really why I'm here. I'm super excited to be partnering with the Microbit Foundation and to be able to have all these really cool tools, make stuff together, meet new people, and maybe have something we can really share off to our friends and colleagues and to our students. So here's the thing about a hackathon. For some of you, this is your first hackathon, and I would love to know who that is. So there's going to be a poll, another one, opening up either now or in a few minutes, that's going to be asking you, is this your first hackathon? Like, how many have you been to? And I've been to a lot at this point. I've run them, I've participated in them, I've volunteered in them. And hackathons are really my favorite way to like kickstart my thinking and my learning for a new thing, maybe that I haven't even thought I needed to learn. I learned Unity at a hackathon. I learned P5JS at a hackathon. And there's just lots of cool things to do and people to meet. So it really, hackathons really come together around three things. You have your tools, which we will get into right now. I'll talk more about that. You have your theme, which is secret. You don't know what the theme is yet. We will announce it after the keynote. And then you have your team, which might be people you know, it might be random people, it might be people who came together around an idea, but we'll be making those after the keynote as well. And so once you have your tools, and you have your theme, and you have your team, you can put those together to design some unique project that you wouldn't have thought of before. So the best spirit with which to come to this is really to not have an idea in advance, to have a completely open mind and to come up with the idea when these three things come together: tools, theme, team. All right, today's schedule. Right now, we are in the kickoff, keynote, and theme portion of the day. So I will talk a little bit, we will have the keynote, and we'll talk a little bit more, and then we'll send you off, because between 10 and 2, that is your team work time. You have 4 hours to hack, but we also have some options for you in there. There are 4 workshops that are going to provide you with support and ideas and curriculum and materials and stuff. And those are optional to go to. They're every hour, half an hour long. There's also a lunch and social break, which is optional, which you can kind of use to chill and hang out with people and, take a break. You're welcome to use that time however you want within your team. You will have a breakout room where you can communicate with them, but it's up to you to take breaks, to decide to go to the workshops or not, to work together as your team. At 2 o'clock, we will present all of our projects. Now, I know we have a lot of people and we only have an hour to present, so not everyone will have time to present like live on stage, but we're going to do it with a Padlet. And then prizes, here's the thing. Nobody is going to win this hackathon because you are all already winners. Your prize is the microbit we sent you and the knowledge that you will take with you. In addition to that, however, there will be raffle prizes at the end. So don't worry about trying to compete with everyone else. This is more of a collaborative spirit. And then at 3 o'clock, we're going to have an after party. So anything you want to do, stick around, get somebody's contact info, share a project you didn't get to share. We're going to be chilling afterwards. All right, the optional workshops that I'm going to give you are, as I said, on every hour for a half an hour. So at 10 o'clock, you're going to have the option to go with Katie Henry from Microbit to learn about all the parts of your microbit, how to do some basic stuff with it, how it works together. At 11, Lisa and Melanie will be teaching you about the sensors, and they've got some really cool environmental integrations. At 12 o'clock, Diane is going to get into gaming. And at 1, Abigail is going to talk about her experience. She's one of our CSTA Equity Fellows, and she's got a wealth of experience and resources to share with us. So I know that's like at the end of the day when maybe you don't have more time to get like more microbit ideas. So that's a cool thing to do, to sit with Abigail and really think about the applications. You can attend any or all. You can drop in, you can come back, you can decide, oh, this isn't for me, I'd rather work. That's totally fine. In addition, the social break, Art with Art Lopez, he's got this really cool online Pictionary game that you can play at lunchtime. And I know there's been some confusion over whether this is 11:30 or 12:30, but we'll sort that out for you before it happens. So please go to that, and it's going to be super cool. Okay, how to get help as you're hacking. Your number one option is to visit the help desk. So Rudy is going to be at the help desk, fielding questions and sending you people. So we have a lot of mentors here from Microbit. So thank you so much, Microbit champions, for being here from around the world. Mentors are going to be assigned to certain groups as needed. And once you are introduced to a mentor, feel free to just message your mentor. if you need help, and ask them to come into your room. You also have going to workshops is a great source of help and asking questions, and you can hang out with other teams. Like these rooms are not locked. You can go visit people and you can ask questions you think you might get answered. Okay, tools-wise physically, you got your microbit, you got your LEDs and your alligator clips that we sent you, and you also have whatever assets you have around in your house right now. Cardboard and recycled stuff and glue guns and glitter and aluminum foil and whatever you have, use your assets. And then in terms of like actual code assets, there are a lot of options for microbit. So make code is the easiest option for beginners. Python, if you already write Python, that is super powerful and runs in the microbit. And there's even a Scratch option, but you have to download a couple things before that to get it started. But do not worry about all these. You do not have to scramble to write these down now, because everything you need is on a Padlet at teacherhackathon.com. So probably the same place where you registered for this, teacherhackathon.com has now got a Padlet full of resources. And these resources, you can add as many as you want. You can use the ones that are there. If you find more, please put them in. Is there something else I can help with? My Siri just got very excited. But the Padlet is also the place where you're going to be presenting your projects. So in each of these little sections, it goes elementary, middle school, high school, and other is on the page too. I want you to put a little explanation of what you made. So when you're sharing your projects, by 2 p.m. please, I'd like a team number. Like here it says team 0 in the example project. A project description, which is just tell us what you made, what you used, and then some sort of evidence. A photo or a video or a screenshot or a link, whatever you have, stick it up there so we can see your work and appreciate it. Okay, so that's the tools we talked a bit about. The theme and the team will come later, but I really want you to get into a mindset of, growth and exploration and taking risks, and who better to help us talk about that and get in that mindset than the students of California. So our keynote is very graciously presented by the Bay Area Youth Computer Science Council. And I would like to turn it over to them now. We're probably going to have a little brief AV lull. But I encourage you to please, as they're presenting, give them encouragement or questions in the chat. And they're really excited to be here, and I hope we can engage with them. And they are my favorite people in the whole world. So I'm going to ask the BAYCSC to come up on the stage. And let's see if this will work. I've stopped sharing my screen. Great. Did we get Ashish? No? Okay, Jessica, you going to start?
Okay.
Excellent.
And Dr. M, could you please add on to any of our intro parts?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay. Are you all set with? Oh, good. You got screen sharing and everything. Yes. Children are the future.
Okay. I'm gonna share my screen. Can you see? Oops. Can you see my slides right now? Good. Can someone give me a verbal confirmation, since I can't see anyone?
Yeah, we can
see your slides.
Great. Thank you. Okay. Sorry, the start may have been a little rocky, but I'm Jessica. I am a senior at Saratoga High School. I am one of the co-founders and officer of education at BAYCSC. And so without further ado, I will do an intro on who we are and what we do. So we are, so BAYCSC stands for Bay Area Youth Computer Science Council, as you've heard, and our mission is to increase access and inclusion in computer science. We started in March 2019, and then we grew into like a team of 15 now from a team of 2, and we host various events such as study groups, speaker series, hackathons. Like pre-COVID, we had like offline library workshops, and we are very excited to have a CS for All commitment last year as a closing the gaps commitment maker. Yes. Okay. And we just hosted our first hackathon recently, and so Dr. M, our mentor, kindly asked us to present our process of going through this hackathon with you guys, and we're super happy to be here. Okay. I think I'm done with my BAYCSC intro stuff. Dr. M, do you have more stuff to add? Also,
Nope.
Any other members can totally chime in.
Keep on going.
Okay. So yeah, okay. I'm going to talk more about how we came up with the plans / how we or what values we focused. But before, Dr. M did let us know that you teachers want to know more about ourselves. So I'm gonna do a little self-intro. So I got into computer science because my mom was a software engineer and I wanted to have more AP classes on my college app. So I was like, I guess I'll sign up for APCSA. And if I feel like it's too hard, my mom always has my back and can tutor me. But once I got into the course while I was doing projects, I actually realized how powerful CS is, how I can just tell the computer what I wanted to do and it'll do it for me. That was very for me, and so I got actual interest in computer science. And I also liked how see the problem solving aspects of computer science, and also it gives a promising career, so parental approval. However, as I continued my pursuit, I guess some problems came up, which brings equality into the picture. So I've grew up in this environment that kind of always there was this general conception that girls cannot do STEM, or boys are smarter than girls. And as I was going through my APCSA and then a data structure class at my local community college, every time I had a significant trouble debugging something, I started doubting myself whether I'm competitive enough, whether I should be staying in whether I should be continue doing CS. And luckily I had tons of resources, namely my mom, and I realized that there was no such thing. But I also realized there are so many people out there who don't have the same resources as me, and they are missing out on so much. So this is why equality matters to me in CS, and why I feel really motivated to work in BAYCSC, and why, yeah. Okay, so now we have a glimpse into our plans, which I hope this loads quickly. So why CS matters to me, or our focus on equity essentially brought us to why we hosted this hackathon. We wanted to align it with our mission and face students who have never coded. So this would be this would be middle schoolers, high schoolers who have never coded in their life or felt it was kind of intimidating to code. So we placed ourselves in this is an initial planning Padlet where we kind of surveyed the whole organization and had people input ideas, and we placed ourselves in our audience shoes. So we asked 3 questions. What makes you feel safe? Or if you are your younger self, and / if you were our participants, then what would make you feel safe in this environment? What would make you feel like you belong? And what would make you feel empowered? And so I'm just gonna briefly scroll through some of these answers that we came up with, but based on these, we came up with a lot of decisions that we made in the hackathon. So regarding safe, we decided through these responses, we wanted to encourage ideas, secondly, mistakes, and thirdly, asking for help, asking for questions. And we emphasized that how we wanted to hear their ideas, like similar interests. But we also gave them time and space to make mistakes. So having like a video recording of our lessons afterwards. And then we also had like pauses in our workshop so that people can catch up and like play around and just consolidate the memory or reconsolidate the memory. And yeah, like, oh, and one last thing that I do that I have in my notes is we are going to show vulnerability as the workshop hosting people. So whether it's in help desk or in our workshop, we intentionally or not made mistakes. And
oh, looks like AV problems. Andrew, your section is up next. We'll go back to Jessica when we
sure.
get
Yeah,
back.
like Jessica cut out a little bit, but
Yep.
I'm gonna go ahead.
Cool.
Give me just. All right. I'm pretty sure you guys can see that, right?
Yep.
All right. Okay. So Jessica was kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but I'm going to be talking about kind of what we taught at our hackathon. Before I do that, just a little bit about me. I'm Andrew, and I'm a sophomore at Carmel High School. And my favorite part of BAYCSC is its mission, which is to make computer science more accessible to everyone, and I guess introduce more people to computer science. And this is a very broad mission, but it's also a very powerful mission, and I know you all are a part of it, and that's awesome. But I remember before I'd ever written a line of code, I always thought you had to be super duper smart to do computer science, and then you had to be like an Albert Einstein to do any type of coding, and that was always really intimidating. But I realized that conception is completely wrong. As I've gotten the opportunity to learn how to code, and as I've joined the Bay Area Youth Computer Science Council, I've learned how computer science is a tool that anyone can use and is something that everyone should have the opportunity to learn about. And as a part of this organization, I get the opportunity to apply this mission to the events and programs we hold that help increase access to computer science. And I think that is really awesome. But yeah, like Jessica mentioned, on March 20th, we held an all-day event. It was an online hackathon. But what was really interesting is that our audience were people who did not have experience with computer science. So normally a lot of hackathons expect you to know something about coding so that you can make a complete project. But we expected our audience to have no experience or just very little experience. And that's one of the really cool things about our hackathon. So our goal, though, was to give participants the tools to make a complete project, not having known anything about coding beforehand. And I think that it's a very ambitious goal, but I think we did a really good job of doing that. Let me see if I can move slides. All right, there you go. So yeah, we held one coding workshop, an hour-long coding workshop, and we were trying to give participants the tools to make a complete project with Python. And the coding platform we used was Replit, and Replit is an online IDE. And it's really helpful for beginners because they don't have to set up a lot of things. But one of the reasons we chose Replit is because it has something called online multiplayer. And online multiplayer essentially allows multiple people to work on the same coding file. It's like the Google Docs of coding. That's kind of how you can think of it, and it's really convenient. So that's kind of why we used it. But the topic that we presented about in our workshop was data visualization, and data visualization is very broad. It's essentially just the use of graphics to present information. It turns numbers and data into these colorful graphics and makes everything really easy to read. And of course, in the data visualization we use, everything is made on computers. Everything is made with code. And our goal was to teach people how we can write code to make art. So I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Python with Turtle, but it's a really simple Python library used to make different shapes and colors and different images on the screen. So that's kind of what we taught in our workshop. We taught participants how to use Python with Turtle to make these really cool, to make designs through code. And I'm actually gonna kind of show you some of the things that we did. So this is actually the starter code that we gave all the participants at the beginning of our workshop, and it's on REPL, so it'll take just a little bit to load. Actually, give me a sec. So this is the 2-line starter code we gave, and if you're familiar with Turtle, this is just essentially all the 2 lines of code you always need when you start a program, and that's all we gave. So if you try running it, nothing happens. But by the end of the hour-long session, we were able to kind of take these 2 lines and transform it into this a lot longer program and make a project that's colorful and it's really cool. You guys can still see that. Yeah, I switched tabs. Y'all can still see that. Awesome. I'm just gonna let that run for a second. But what this is doing, it forms a pie chart. And this is kind of the coding project we taught at our workshop. And it's a really useful coding project because it can be applied. This kind of pie chart can be applied to many real life and can be used to integrate real life data really easily. So participants could kind of tailor their pie chart to any kind of data they found on the internet. And the thing that we kind of really taught during our lesson were all these turtle methods. So if you I know there's a lot of stuff going on here, but a lot of these lines of code, they're just kind of like different functions or commands you can tell our turtle to do to make these really cool colors and images on the screen. And we also taught loops and just different things, different kind of lines of code to help set up people with Turtle. So that was kind of the emphasis of our workshop. But actually, my favorite part of the workshop was actually how we taught it, not what we taught. I was really proud of what we taught and we were able to get here, but I was also really proud of how we taught the workshop. So I know since everything was online, this was an online workshop and an online hackathon, we had to teach in a digital format, of course, and there's inherent challenges of doing that. But I think we found a really cool way of kind of teaching through Zoom. And it kind of went like this. So we had multiple people on the education team kind of teaching this workshop, and we'd have one person kind of sharing their screen, and another person would be giving step-by-step instructions and kind of doing a live demo of the code that participants could follow. And what's really cool is it was an hour-long workshop. We did not have just one person talking the entire time. Like every few minutes or so, we'd have someone switch off, and then it kind of had this alternating dynamic that I thought was really effective in teaching the content that we had. So I guess I can quickly exemplify what was going on. So right now I'm sharing my screen. This is kind of the starter code, but in our workshop, someone else would say, why don't we try maybe making our turtle, why don't we try drawing a straight line forward? And then I would say, okay, how do we do that? And we'd find out that to make our turtle go forward in a certain direction and draw a forward line, we could say t.forward and then have a value there. And then someone else would ask me, can you run this? And I'd say, okay, sure, I'll run it. And as you can see, I'd run it, and then popping up on the screen was this line that went forward 100 spaces. And that's kind of how our workshop went. Then maybe someone else would say, why don't you try changing the color? And I'd say, okay, sure. What color should we change it to? And maybe someone would say red. And I'll try typing in red. Okay, if I can type color correctly, that is. Boom. And now my turtle draws this red line. So that's kind of how our workshop went. And after the workshop, participants were able to take the skills from this workshop and apply them to their different projects. And I'm extremely proud of how they turned out. And with that, I'm actually going to pass it on to Suleiman, who's going to talk about the different projects and the awards at our hackathon.
Just real quick, Jessica's back. So I want to give her a chance to finish her design conversation. Just real quick, what were the things? And then we'll jump to Suleiman. Thanks for being flexible, guys.
Yeah, thank you guys. I came back and then Andrew was like in the middle of presenting. I was like, wait, did I cut off? So wait, since I don't know when I cut off.
Okay.
Yeah, Andrew.
We'd like to, we heard about the safe things, but we didn't hear about the belonging or the successful.
Okay.
So Andrew, if you can stop sharing your screen, then we can get Jessica in. Cool.
Okay, can you see this?
Yeah.
Yes, great. Okay, well, I will quickly run through our belong and empowered. So for belong, we came up with a lot of advertisement elements, like we talked about the colors on our flyers and the phrasing / emphasis that we're gonna have with let's say focusing on learning new skills and making friends rather than competitiveness. And lastly, for empowered, our ideas were really that we want them to leave with the feeling that they did something with coding and they were able to use coding to solve a problem. So I'm actually gonna go back to our slides here, and you've probably already seen this, but we chose the theme People of Earth. And for that matter, because you can really go creative on that theme into a lot of problems. And through this theme, we wanted to encourage people to think about a problem that they care about and use coding to address this theme so that at the end of the hackathon, even though they don't finish their project, or they may or may not finish their project, but regardless, they can feel like they've used coding to address and propose a potential solution to a problem that they care about, which is really empowerment and achievement. And we also had sample projects for them, which they can enter in, change whatever they want to change, so that they can have a basis to base their project off of. And we wanted to give them maximum reward that we can with these codes, with less work and frustration, but they can change around anything in these sample projects. And lastly, we have personalized awards for everyone. So this goes to not competitiveness as well. And we had these fun awards for every team, basically recognizing them for how they've done a really good work. And by that, it's also a means to give them empowerment, and we'll clap for you. Okay, I am done with my session. Or my last things to talk about. Now I'll give it back to Suleiman to talk further about the awards.
Okay, let me quickly share my screen.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Suleiman Asif. I'm a junior in high school, and I'm part of the West Valley Middle College program. I'm a junior at BAYCSC, and I've been a part of BAYCSC for a few months now. Ever since I was young, I like to take apart computers, and I like to figure out what the different components were. So I really like computer hardware, and I recently built my own computer because of that. When I was introduced to BAYCSC by a friend, I decided to join and take that opportunity to learn more about this field and help someone in an area that I also really enjoy. My role in the hackathon was hosting the team presentations, the award ceremony, and then coordinating with the judges to provide feedback for the different projects, and then also working on the personalized award slides that you saw. And I'm going to show a little more of those. So I'm going to show some of the projects that were submitted by the teams, and also those award slides that I had made. The way we had it structured is that for the team presentations, we asked them what their idea was, what they made within the time that they were given, and if they had more time, what would they have added to their project. And after that, we gave them about 20 minutes to watch an episode of Phineas and Ferb, a little de-stress break. And then in that time, the judges were working on the awards and giving out the personalized awards. And after that, we had the award ceremony. There were about 3 different types of projects that were submitted. We had some teams that followed our example and created a pie chart. We had some teams that decided to go with different types of graphs. So rather than a pie chart, they would make a bar graph or something similar. And then we had some teams that used their previous knowledge and the knowledge that we had taught them and then implemented it in a completely different way, not creating a graph, but something completely unique. So I'm going to go over the teams that made pie charts first, and then they also added on their own little twists to it. So this is an example of one of the award slides that were given out. This team created a pie chart showing population per continent, as you can see. They went with the pie chart like with the example, and then they also added in some text that adds to the data, so it gets a little more specific, which is really nice because it makes it a lot more detailed. And then they also made it color coded. And then they also kept their code really nice and clean, and then they added a lot of comments to make it very easy to read. And then this is another team that also went with our pie chart example. As you can see, they have a little legend there. Their project was based around energy consumption, and they gave the little percents and everything to make it really detailed. They also kept their code really clean, left a lot of comments, and that was a common theme that I was seeing throughout these projects, and it was really nice to see. So this team actually took the pie charts and then they decided to make 2 of them, which is really interesting, and it made for a really cool project. So as you can see, they have a key on the side that's color coded, so you can really tell which part of the pie chart is representing what. So it was extremely detailed. And then during their presentation, they actually offered possible solutions. They were presenting about recycling, and that's what their graphs are based around. And then they offered possible solutions that we ourselves could implement into our daily lives. And I found that really nice and interesting. That was a really nice detail that they added. And then this team had a really cool idea. So they wanted to go with our normal pie chart example, but then they also wanted to make it aesthetically appealing. So they wanted to add in like an artistic aspect. So as you can see in their project, they didn't have enough time to finish, but they had a little design that they were trying to make. And that was a really cool idea. I really like that. Next, we have teams that decided to make different types of graphs. So rather than creating the pie chart like we showed, they used that knowledge and then they implement it in a completely different way. So this team used a bar graph. They had taken some sample data that we had provided about LGBTQ youth mental health, and then they turned it into a bar graph rather than a pie chart. And then they put percents at the top to make it nice and easy to read. And then this team decided to make a histogram using some data that they had found. They figured out how to make a turtle graph time series data on an XY axis. And then they used their graph they made the histogram, and then they color coded it based on different types of states. So their problem was also about population changes over time. And as you can see, they took the time to actually make it or make the tick marks, but they didn't have enough time to completely finish it. So as you can see, there aren't numbers there. And then next, I'm going to show projects that weren't about data. So they had used previous knowledge and made a unique, had a unique different type of project. So this team decided to make a city skyline using the turtle that we had taught, or using the information we had taught them to make the turtle move. And then they also made it interactive by adding it, using their own knowledge of programming. So their idea was actually to make a virtual reality game where you could walk around and explore a world. They didn't have enough time to do that, so they ended up making a city skyline. And then, as you can see, there's a little line with an arrow on it. That's the interactive aspect. If I click somewhere, it'll draw a line to my cursor. And then next, we had this team that decided to make a app where you could connect with friends, like a social media app type thing. So you enter in your name and your email, and then you're added to their database, and then you can look up someone else by using their name or their email, or even find new people. Within the time that they had, they managed to design the user interface portion, and they didn't manage to actually create the app, but they managed to get quite a bit done, and it was really surprising to see. And then lastly, we had this team that decided to make a project based on our current situation, so something about COVID-19. They ended up making a simulation. And I'm actually going to quickly stop sharing my screen and switch over to that. Or actually, I think I can just, can you see this right here? Okay, so I'm going to quickly run that, and it's going to show what their simulation is. So as you can see, there's some dots popping up. The red dots represent someone that is infected with COVID-19, and the blue dots represent someone that is not infected. So they put a lot of research and effort into this project, and that was a really cool thing to see. So those are all the projects I have to talk about. So I'm going to pass it on to Josh to talk about some of the lessons that we had learned from the hackathon.
Hi, I'm Joshua, and I am a member of BAYCSC for roughly a little more than half a year, and I'm actually thinking of majoring in social sciences, particularly political science, economics, and philosophy. However, I joined BAYCSC because I thought that computer sciences generally have a very big connection with like philosophy, logic, and then it also would make a great impact on like our futures in like politics or economics, or just impact our lives in general. So I thought computer science was very interesting, and that's why I joined BAYCSC, and that's why I'm here. So further reflection, we generally just concluded with like what went well and what could have gone better. So for what went well, as Jessica kind of pointed out a bit, we didn't have an ultra competitive environment or a climate for a hackathon. So for example, we know that in some hackathons, the teams might be really competitive and like maybe not be willing to help each other. But I think for our hackathon, the teams were generally cooperating with each other and were willing to like bounce ideas off each other, which we thought were very good and very helpful to computer science or sharing computer science or creating a very good product in the end. We thought that such a climate is also very vital when like if they continue on with computer science into like colleges or into their workplace, that they would bounce ideas off each other and share their work with their colleagues so that everyone can make suggestions on what they are good at and be able to make the product in cooperation and in the end. And second, we thought that our hackathon generated a lot of interest and the people are eager to learn more. So after the hackathon, we had several people reach out to us wanting to learn more about our events or even wanting to join BAYCSC. So we thought that was very interesting, especially in the younger ages where people were not that familiar with computer science. We thought that having like an entry-level hackathon where people were able to simply learn one thing and then apply it kind of immediately, would it be able to generate a lot of interest for digging deeper in computer science. Third, we thought our cooperation between our four departments, which were outreach, education, operations, and quality, went well. So as we are all quite familiar with, creating a hackathon is quite a lot of work. So therefore, we split our work between four departments, as just mentioned here, and we focus on different tasks. For example, outreach might be focused on posting on social media or reaching out to people or making sure that all of our participants know what's going on. And then, as mentioned before, education focused on creating a workshop and sometimes often with the help desk. And then operations also were doing help desk, but also were doing most of the presentation or just getting everyone together and making sure that the hackathon move on as planned. And then equity was in charge of getting speakers or making sure that people who usually were not as involved in computer science know about our hackathon and can get involved in computer science. So then through the cooperation for four departments, we thought that we're able to gather the skills of many people from different areas and put them together to make a good hackathon in the end. And then lastly, we thought that we had an effective, approachable help desk and staff. So this was vital because as we've seen now, many people went above and beyond what they were supposed to do or what we taught in the workshop. We only taught them how to move, how to change colors, how to repeat, and then but many people decided to, for example, the Tesla project to make different dots everywhere, and thought that that was very innovative. And then sometimes they might not be able to do that with the knowledge they have. So first, as we've said above, they could ask their peers, or many approached our help desk and staff, and we worked together to give them more information and what they needed to make a good product in the end. However, there were two things that we thought could have gone better. First was we could have created a timetable earlier so that there's little conflict or confusions. I think we created our timetable roughly a week before our hackathon, and as a result, some people had to miss part of our hackathon because they might have planned something at that conflict or hackathon before we release our schedule. So we thought that if we created a timetable earlier, that could have been more helpful for people to organize their schedule and come around to attend the hackathon. And another thing which we thought were quite vital was that I think we could have given more feedback to the different projects in the end. So in the end, we just kind of gave out the awards and the recognition for the different people. However, and then some people did approach us for more specific feedback, but we thought that it might have been more helpful to just give feedback specifically for everyone. and to reach out to everyone for feedback so that they know what they have done well, what they could have improved, or where they can go on in their future like computer science career. So that was all of our presentation, and here you can find us on Linktree, Instagram, and Twitter. Someone will send that in the chat soon. And feel free to visit our website at baycsc.tech if you wish to learn more. And thank you for listening. It's our great pleasure to be able to be here and present to you what we had and how our hackathon went, and some suggestions on what we did. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bay Area Computer Science Council, Jessica, Joshua, Andrew, Suleiman. It was so wonderful to hear from you. You have set the bar high for expectations for teachers in this hackathon. That's what I see here, is that teachers now, you're going to go and participate in a hackathon. Hopefully, you might organize a hackathon in the future for your students. And man, they are a tough act to follow, a tough act to beat. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm sure our wonderful high school presenters can stick around for a few minutes if you have questions for them or feedback for them. It's lovely to see in the chat all the positive feedback, and I thank you so much. Okay, so let's get back to, with that inspiration, let's complete the diagram on our hackathon success thing. So we've got tools. We are super inspired and a bit shown up by some students. Let's get to a theme. So the secret theme is your jumping off point for your project idea. It is completely open to interpretation, and if the theme starts bogging you down, you're allowed to go in a different way or, see a different thing. I'm super happy about this theme, and so I want to make sure that everyone's kind of paying attention to this, because it's got a little video. I'm only going to show it once, and you can try to guess what the secret theme is as we go, right? So that is your theme. The theme is green. And how are you going to interpret this theme? We have 3 suggestions for you to start interpreting this theme, and they are according to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which is one of the things that the Microbit Do Your Bit campaign is all about. So maybe you want to think about green as being affordable and clean energy. Maybe you want to think about green as life on land. Or maybe you want to think about green as life below the water. These are all ideas, directions you can take green in, and there are resources on the Padlet that will tell you more about all of these things and give you prompts and project examples and all sorts of fun things like that. So green. Teams. We are ready for the team making portion of this hackathon, which is always the most like chaotic and crazy and stuff. So here's how it's going to be. We would like you to have teams of 4 as you make your green projects. Now we have pre-made some rooms in Hopin. So you'll notice in the sessions before you had like different rooms for different grade bands and different interest areas. We will now have a different room for every team. And we've designated teams 1 through 5 as elementary, 6 through 10 as middle, 11 through 15 as high, and then 16 through 30 as other. So you are allowed to form your own teams. If you have people you want to work with, people you know before, people you've never worked with but really want to approach to be on a team to learn from, you can create your own teams. If, for example, you want to make an elementary team and you have 2 people already and you need 2 more people, go over and claim an elementary room. Be there. We can see how many people are in the room from the outside. And so we can send some people over who, maybe don't know, but want to do elementary stuff. So we can send them over. We have made a little spreadsheet for you to start creating your teams on. And the link for that should be placed in the, it's on the Padlet at teacherhackathon.com. It's the first link of resources there. And someone will be helpful and place it in the chat for right now. So when you get there, you can make your team share audio and video. Mentors, I'd like to call you out. If you can all go to the help desk session right now, you'll be given your instructions. So mentors can quit this session, go over to the help desk, and we will assign you teams as they're formed. So this is the hard and fraught part. We've got the Padlet, we've got the little spreadsheet, and I'm going to watch the number of people in this room. So right now I have 85 people in this room. And my goal is to get everyone to leave this room eventually because they're in team rooms. Okay? Does this sound good? Okay. So I'm going to thank the BAYCSC presenters, and you can stop sharing your video now, or you can go have a break. You can keep answering questions, whatever you like. Cool. Thanks. And we're going to go and make these teams. Okay. So I need some active chat participation now. Is there anyone who is interested in being in an elementary only team, like a K-5? Who wants to do that? Anyone for elementary? Good, good. I see Jasmine and Matthew and Ira. Good. Okay, Jasmine, Matthew, and Ira, can you go over and change your session to team 1? Okay. You can go join that. And the goal is teams of 4. And right now you have 3. So we're going to strive to get you 4 people in there. Good. Thank you. Okay. Is there anyone who's interested? Good. Go over, Mark. That's a great team. Oh, man. I want to be on that team. But I can't because there's already 4 people. Okay. Go ahead and join over there. You can put your names on the spreadsheet if you have the time. Excellent. And if for example, you have like 5, 6 people in one room, just divide out into 2 teams. You can do that. I'm trusting on your adult teacher leaderness to be able to form your own teams. We are down to 60 people. Okay. Do we have any people who, good, Susan, you can go over and change your session over to one of the elementary ones. And Amanda, good. So anyone who really wants to be with other elementary educators, go over and you can join anywhere in teams 1 through 5 where you see their space. Good. Okay. Same deal with middle school. Middle school, you can join teams 6 through 10. Good, Kelly. Okay, Kelly, you can go over and join one of the middle school teams, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, any of those. But if you see one already has 4 people in it, make a new one, right? And we'll make sure you have enough people. Cool. All right, good. Lilibeth and Kelly, you're going to be a great team together. Same deal with high school. Who wants to do high school? Stick in high school. Excellent. Yeah. Cool. Lisa, you're going to go to one of the high school sessions, team 11 through 15. Good. Yeah, Leo. Good. Okay. So you can do this yourselves. You can go over and find a high school thing. Excellent. And anyone who's left, maybe you have an idea for a project. Maybe you have like a geographical loyalty to people who are near you. Maybe you have a particular interpretation of the theme that you want to work on. You are allowed to create your own room anywhere in 16 to 30. If you're the first person in the room, like maybe type in the chat what your idea is and see if people will join you. We are going to help you here. I see 34 people left in this session that I got to work on getting you out of here and into a room, into a team. I'm going to check the team doc real quick. Oh, I love this. People are definitely populating the team doc. I'm going to share that with you. That is really exciting. Chrome tab, Teacher Hackathon teams. Look, people are putting their names in. Good. So we have some K-5 people. Looks like great. Team 1 is pretty populated. We've got some middle and high school. Cool. And remember, 16 through 30 are up to you. What kinds of things do you want to have? Great. Maybe you want to coalesce around science or around math, or around social studies. Those are all totally welcome. Okay, 26 more people. We're getting down to it. I would like you, anyone who does not know where they're going, type in the chat what your needs are, what kind of team you want to have. how you're feeling, and we will get you all sorted. So let me know what kind of things you want to get out of today, what kinds of people you want to hang out with. Good. Good. Okay, who are my 25 people? I'll start calling on you. Okay. Danielle Martin, I see you here. Did you get a team yet? Yeah, Mark, I think you should join a team. I bet if you stick around for a few minutes, there's going to be a team of 3 who could really benefit from your expertise that you could join along with. Who else do we have? Who's still in the session? We have, cool, we have Daniel. What about Carol? How are you doing, Carol? Tell me about what your needs are. That is okay. If you are not able to contribute the whole day, that is fine. Just whatever time you have, totally allowed. Okay, I got 18 people left. Excellent. Art. Ben, how's it going? What are your needs? Clay, Cleason, Daniel. Oh, Daniel's a microbit champion. You know where you're going. Diane. Oh, Diane, you're doing one of the sessions. Thank you for being here. And we have Felicia, JC, James, Yana, Jason, June, Joe. Cool. Okay. Who is left who needs my help? Yes, the live session to go into to ask questions is the help desk. And right now, starting right now, there's actually the unboxing your microbit session. So you can start out there, or you can start with your team time. It's totally optional. Seeing this Teams doc fill up. This is great. Okay. Who do we have left? I think we might be down just to the people who are helping organize or doing some other stuff. Cool. Okay. What is your, what do you need? What teams do you have? You can also look at the Teams doc and figure out which teams don't have enough people. Go and join them. You're always allowed to switch your teams and change your mind. Cool. Okay, Danielle, you are leaving this session and going into a team session instead. So to find which session you're going to, you can use the, so you can use the Teams doc, or you can just go pop around in the sessions and try to find a team of people who need another player. And you're going to be starting hacking. You're going to make your microbit project along the theme of green. The intro to microbits, I don't know, it should have started by now. I think in the sessions you can click on that. Oh, Danielle, don't worry about it. Put your name back on a row. With all the people editing this doc, I'm sure there's going to be clashes and problems. So you can feel free to add yourself. Oh, I see you in the doc. On a row with one person. Cool. So I want you to go into that room, and that's room 12 that you're on the line of. Go and talk to that person. So go into the session breakout room, talk to that person, and decide if you want to be a team. And you can, get more people, or you can join another team, or you can change your mind. Yeah. So over on the left, there's a sessions button, or you can join your team. All right, and we are down to 7. Is there anyone else who needs help joining a team? Because if there's not, I'm gonna close this. Steven, Juan, Cleason, do you need anything? Okay. How's it go? Okay, I see BT. No, I see Mark. Mark, Juan, Suleiman, Andrew, Cleason. Excellent. Okay. I'm going to try to close this session and leave it. If you need any help, you can go to the help desk. We will sort you out with teams. But this is your last chance for questions in here before I close this out. And I'm going to go to the microbit session. Everyone cool? Last chance. Okay, I'm going to close it now. Everyone else, make sure you go over to your session with the team number. And if you don't have a team, feel free to pop in and go see. Okay, have fun. Good luck. Bye.